Today I start adding the layer to my mural to make a 3D shape. I decided to tint the layer under the flowers a little bit and just going to build up. Let me see, I'll show you. Make it more of a peak so you really see how stiff this paint is. It's a heavy duty texture paint. So I will start applying the paint wherever I will add the parts I want 3D, and I keep building them up. And then in the end, at the event, I will add the final details. But this here is just building up my design. Jaffes had this golden green, and so I splurged on the back. There will other colors be on top, but I thought if there was a little peak of a color coming through, this would be nice. So I will keep the edges relatively flat, and then the center I will keep building up. And since I never before have built layers with this paint, I will treat this a little bit like I would do ceramics. And I will add texture to the underlayers, so when I start building more layers on top of it, it has a little more to grab onto. So let me see, I have, this could actually work. It has some teeth, so I've seen this paint being applied and it doesn't seem to slip at all, but it just seems to make sense to give it a little bit something the paint can hang on to. Like I said, I will build several layers on top of this, and then at the event finish it up with the final layers. That should be enough. It might be unnecessary, you know, but okay, let's put a little left over here and add more in the other areas. So the ones which are a little bit smaller behind, I will not make as high, but I still want to give them a little raise. It's going to be really delicious to look at this when it's finished. This actually dries pretty hard, and I could, if I wanted to, probably sand the paint a little bit as well. I actually have to make another batch because I used a bag I already started. So I will purposely let this dry bit come back with the next batch to see how these layers fare when I start building them up. I have worked with this paint on smaller scale, but never at this kind of scale. Now I'm going to add some of my leaf sections. I used the gel medium, so that has, it should be clear. So since this is the bottom layer, I'm hoping I'm getting a little bit light entering and creating a little bit of transparency on the edges where the leaves finish. And I purposely left streaks in my paint. I like to see a little bit live and not blend the paint totally. So like I said, I will come back on these on top. Creating the ridges will again be a way to hold on to the next layer. But I don't want the leaves to be as tall as my flowers. So we have this big one here. So the one thing I need to make sure of, that I knock peaks down if I don't want the peaks, because this paint will pretty much stay the way I put it down. So if it's too high, I need to fix it right now. So I gotta start out simple and keep adding. Some areas you might not see me painting because I want it to be close, so you see how the paint applies, and you won't see that if I'm too far away. If you look close, you're starting to see where it's drying already. It probably would have been easier if I made everything already in a color I'm gonna use on top, but I really want to create a little bit of a play between the colors. So allowing some of the undertones to peek through to really get that 3D feel. I want to make this look like the leaf is peeking underneath here. Okay, I have another one right there. I left some of the green darker to create the illusion of shadows. Okay, I have leftover paint. I will make other green tones in between. Some stems. I think that's not a leaf I had planted. A few more flowers I didn't do, like this one here. These I will give kind of probably half the height than I want to give my hero flower. So So they still pop out, but not as far, so it looks like they're going a little bit to the back, like they would be doing that in a bush. One I might only apply one layer. I have to see. I can always change my mind. Now later when I come back, I will use other tools to get a more realistic effect on the final design of this mural. Big flower down there and on the other side. The outer layer will definitely raise even, unmistakable height, turning this into a sculptural mural. I think I'm gonna keep you in suspense and let this layer totally dry and show you in the next video, my next up layer, so you really see how this paint actually dries, because this is a transparent layer where I added some opaque paint in it, and I think it will be good to see what it actually looks like when it's totally dry. So this layer is not very high. So between all the layers I want to get a little back and forth going on to make it more exciting. So I think that's good. I don't want to mix any more for now. Let this dry, and in the next video I will show it to you first dry and then layer another one on. So this is going to be probably my top layer, about medium. Maybe this one a little lower than this one. And the leaves I will build up, the closer ones probably a little more elaborate, and then let the rest of the leaves fall a little bit in the back. And then I will add additional paint in between where I want shadows and highlights. Okay, let me get a little closer from the side so you can see. Then I go to the side. Can you see a little bit that raising? Maybe a little bit. Of course, it's going to be more obvious the more I layer up.